Enhanced Student. Enhanced Student is a platform for law students to come here and deliver a lecture on the topic of their choice. Today we have with us law student Pratham Gavali. He is going to speak on theories of punishment. He is from KES Shri Jayantilal Patel College of Law. So without wasting further time, I would request Pratham to commence with his lecture. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. This is Pratham Gavali, a fifth year law student, here to give you a lecture upon theories of punishment. Before starting, I would like to give my regards to Advocate Rahul sir to providing us a beautiful opportunity to shed upon lights like this philosophical and knowledgeable topics. So, before starting, I would like to throw a question upon you. I would like to say my whole lecture revolves around this question, and I hope before concluding this short and brief lecture, you will find some solutions and some answers to these questions. The question here is, what is the justification for a punishment given to an individual when found guilty of an offense? Theories of punishment. Let's dive right into it. As common knowledge, you know, there is civil law and there is criminal law. So theories of punishment is a branch of criminal law. So here we are going to examine some of the theoretical underlinings of and underpinnings of criminal law. We are going to look at sort of ends of criminal law. We know that punishment exists. We know the idea of punishment. We know when an individual is found guilty of an offense, he has to be punished. Let's say he has been sentenced to prison, or he has been penalized with a fine, or he has been subject to social reforms or social processes. Then the question is why when he is found guilty on offense, he has been sentenced to prison, he has been subject to social processes, or he has been penalized with a fine. The question is why doesn't he has been set free in the society again? So when an act has been criminalized, we know that person has been found guilty of the said act. The person has to be punished. So we have various justification for why is punishment and what is punishment. So we today will look at 4 of the common known justification of law and punishments. So I'll just give you a gist of all 4 of the justification for punishment in the start. The 4 are: the first one is deterrence theory, the second one is rehabilitative theory, the third one is retributive theory, and the fourth one is preventive or incapacitative theory. The explanation of the first one is the deterrence theory. The deterrence theory is, in simple words, to say is to deter others from committing the same crime by punishing an individual who has found guilty of an offense. The second one is rehabilitative theory. A simple phrase for rehabilitative theory is, when there is punishment, there is a certain degree of rehabilitation to it. The third one is retributive theory. A retributive theory, I'll just give you a phrase for it. An eye for an eye. You can call it as an idiom, but we'll further look into it. The third one is preventive and incapacitative theory. The theory speaks for itself. It is just to prevent someone to re-enter into the society, to create more havoc or to commit the same offense again. So, in my opinion, don't look at them as theories of punishment or a pointers to write into the exams. Look at them as justification for the punishments. That why the punishment has been given to a certain individual. If he has been found guilty of an offense, why he has given capital punishment, why he has been penalized with fine, or why he has been sentenced to some other punishments. The first one, I would like to start with deterrent theory, and I would like to give you an example for deterrent theory. The example goes, there is country A and there is country B. Let's say there has been a fraud of benefit, there has been a crime of benefit, let's say theft or fraud. In country A, the punishment of theft and fraud is a fine of 10,000 rupees, or let's say 1 lakh rupees. And in country B, the punishment of theft and fraud is capital punishment. So what do you think? In which country there is more likely to citizens to commit the offense of theft and fraud? Of course, country A, because the risk to reward ratio is more in country A, relative, in the other hand, to the country B, because the risk of death is much more than the benefit that can arise out of the offense of theft and fraud. So I must say the benefit that arises out of the commission of theft is more, where in country B the death penalty was an agenda for somebody who committed theft or fraud, then the argument goes as you are less likely to commit theft or fraud because of the risk of the death, essentially for the relatively minor reward of committing theft or fraud might be deterrent to the particular offense. So you end up having quite significant punishments and crimes that you are talking about. And that is one way which deterrence justify not only punishment but quite severe punishments. So here the idea of punishment is to deter other from committing the same crime. I can give you one more example. If you say someone has been committing an offense and you see that he has been subject to such hefty punishment that you yourself deter yourself from committing in such offense because of the punishment that he has been suffering from. That is deterrence for you. The second justification for punishment is rehabilitative format. As I told you, when there is punishment, there is certain degree of reformation to it. I'll give you a phrase for rehabilitative. Restoring individual to productive societal roles through targeted interventions. The address the underlying cause of criminal behavior. So the aim essentially here is to found guilty to go through a process of punishment where they learn the errors of their ways. They learn what is wrong and what is right and what is the essential role that they have to carry around while being in the society. The idea behind it is that to reform the individuals that they can re-enter into the society with their reform and re-enhanced ways to behave in the society. The idea here is that implementing a rehabilitative format of punishment, then you will reduce that is known as the rate of crime, the rate of criminal that are coming out of punishment and committing the said offense again. The idea of influence the type of punishment as well, because rehabilitation therefore does not suggest that punishment ought to be horrible or terrible. The third justification for punishment is the idea of retribution. As I said, I give you an idiom, an eye for an eye. I'll give you one more phrase for it. Imposing punishment proportionate to the offense based on the principle that wrongdoing must be met with the just consequences. Essentially, this justification for punishment asserts that the people who are found guilty having committed an offense ought to have something done to them as a way to give them their just deserts. So what do you mean by just deserts? Deserts is a maxim which refers to the idea that people deserve to receive a punishment or reward that is appropriate to their actions. In context of criminal justice, it means that a person should be punished in a manner that is fitting by the crime they have committed, based on the principle of moral accountability. The term is rooted in the concept of retributive justice. The idea here you can see when we look at more heinous offenses involving sexual harassment of children, offenses involving women, there is almost a perception within the society that retribution is required. So each of this theory you should notice is a type of informs what type of punishment that is going to be applied to different offenses. So for example, with the deterrence theory, there is offering justification to quite significant punishment, because the motive and the justification for deterrence theory strives for the people to stop others from doing the same offense with the. For example, with the deterrence theory, the offering justification to have is that quite significant punishment for the offenses try to stop others from committing the same offense. With rehabilitative theory, if there is certain punishment, there is certain degree of rehabilitation to it. It is more individually focused justification for punishment. It focuses more on the individual perspective. If a person has been subject to rehabilitative processes, will he commit the same crime again if he enters into the society? does his way changes if he is set free into the society. Only then we have this idea of incapacitation or preventive theory. The theory speaks for itself, is the final punishment, and essentially that in some cases there may be individuals who are danger to society and the purpose of punishment is to remove them from the society. I think the best way for it is to give them prison sentence. The main motive of this punishment or to prevent the crime or not to take revenge. The main motive here is to not to take revenge but to prevent them from entering into the society and committing the same offense again. As I said, a prison sentence is the best way to do it. This does not work necessarily for fine or penalty, of course. It focuses more on the heinous crimes or the sentences which extend more than 3 years or extend up to 7 years or life imprisonment. It may work for an individual who commits serious offences or heinous offences and need to be taken out of the society for the betterment of it. For the criminological perspective, these theories of punishment reflect broader societal values and the evolving understanding of crime and criminal behavior. For each theory represents a different approach to addressing the cause and consequence of criminal activity. So I hope, we conclude the lecture today. Hope we got some conclusion to the question that was asked in the beginning. Thank you.
Pratham, thank you very much for this crisp lecture on the theories of punishment. And I think as far as your one of the punishment, rehabilitation, is concerned, if you are aware, in the new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the community service has come into the picture, and you will be happy to know that the first community service order has also been passed by Delhi High Court on 18th of July 2024. So thank you very much. This is a small token from us.
Thank you so much.